High Admiral Khan trembled as he stood in the great circular hall. The 7 elders of the galactic hegemony watched him with their large, reflective eyes. Kang's skin shifted from blue to a pale green, showing his worry. "Most respected elders," he began, "my scout ships have found a new world with thinking beings on it." Usually, such news made the council happy. The hegemony had ruled the stars for 50,000 years. They brought new races into their empire peacefully, teaching them the ways of galactic society. But Kang's voice shook as he spoke. "These creatures call themselves humans. They live on a planet named Earth. We have watched them for 3 cycles now, and I must tell you, they are not like others we have found." Elder Su leaned forward. "Explain." Kang touched a control pad. Images filled the air around them. The elders gasped at what they saw. "Humans evolved on what we would call a death world," Kang said. "Their air contains oxygen levels that would kill most spacefaring races. Their gravity is crushing. Their world has massive oceans, burning deserts, freezing poles, and active volcanoes, yet they live in all these places." The images showed humans climbing ice mountains, diving into deep seas, and walking through fire-hot deserts. "They are soft-bodied, with no natural armor," Kang continued. "But their healing abilities are beyond anything we've seen. Injuries that would end any of us, broken bones, deep cuts, even lost limbs, they survive. Some of their medical methods involve cutting themselves open to fix internal problems. They remain conscious through pain that would make our kind die from shock alone." Elder Park made a clicking sound of disbelief. "You exaggerate, Admiral." "I wish I were," Kang replied. He showed more images, humans in hospital beds, covered in tubes and wires, yet recovering from terrible wounds. "Their minds are equally strange," he said. "They fight constant wars among themselves, tribe against tribe, nation against nation. They kill for land, resources, ideas, or simply because their ancestors did so. Yet the same humans who create weapons of mass destruction also write poetry about love and peace." The council watched silently as images showed human cities destroyed by bombs, then rebuilt better than before. "But most disturbing is their curiosity," Kang said. "When faced with the unknown, most species react with fear or caution. Humans react with interest. They see a dark cave and think, 'I wonder what's inside.' They see a deep ocean and think, 'I must explore it.' They look at the stars and think, 'How can we get there?'" Elder Jean spoke up. "Many young species dream of the stars." "Yes," Kang agreed, "but humans don't just dream. They act. Their technology advances faster than any race we've studied. From basic flight to space travel in less than a century. From simple computers to artificial intelligence in even less time. They don't progress steadily. They leap forward in bursts of creativity driven by need or crisis." Kang showed the final set of images, human space stations, probes sent to other planets, and plans for colony ships. They will reach nearby stars within a generation. Their current technology is primitive compared to ours, but their learning curve is nearly vertical. At this rate, they could match our level within a few centuries, not the thousands of years it took other races. The chamber grew quiet. Finally, Elder Su asked, "What do you recommend, Admiral?" Kang stood straight. "I believe we have 3 options. First, we could destroy them now, while they're confined to one solar system." Several elders shifted uncomfortably. "Second, we could make contact and try to guide their development, as we have with others." "And the third option?" Elder Park asked. "We quarantine their entire system. No contact. No trade. We place warning beacons at the edge of their solar system, telling all spacefaring races to stay away." "You fear them that much?" Elder Jean seemed surprised. "I respect them," Kang corrected. "Humans are not evil or malicious by nature. But they are unpredictable. They break rules they don't like. They question everything. And they never, ever give up." Kang paused, then finished, "Most species reach for the stars with careful planning and slow, steady progress. Humans reach for the stars as a drowning person reaches for air, with desperate need and total commitment. I recommend quarantine." For their safety and ours. The council chamber fell silent as the elders considered his words. 6 months after Admiral Kang's warning, a small research ship called Starseeker drifted silently near the edge of Earth's asteroid belt. The ship was nearly invisible, covered in light-bending materials and heat-masking systems. Inside, 5 scientists worked quietly, recording everything they saw about the humans. Dr. Hannah, the head scientist, floated in the observation deck. She had studied 26 alien species before, but humans fascinated her most. Through powerful scopes, she watched human mining ships breaking apart asteroids and collecting rare metals. They were so new to space, yet already changing it to suit their needs. The council was wrong to approve this mission, said Captain Lee, joining her. We're too close. Hannah disagreed. We must understand them. Look how they work together, solving problems, improvising. And they sing while they work. What species sings during labor? The captain frowned. Admiral Kong was right. They're unpredictable. We should leave. Before Hannah could answer, the ship suddenly shook. Lights flickered and died. Emergency systems hummed as backup power kicked in. What happened? Hannah asked, her heart racing. The ship's engineer, Jean, called from the control room. A micrometeor hit our main power coupling. We've lost primary systems, including our cloaking technology. Captain Lee's face turned pale. Can we fix it? Yes, but it will take 8 hours. We're visible until then. The words had barely left Jin's mouth when an alert sounded. A human mining vessel had changed course. It was heading straight for them. They've spotted us, Captain Lee whispered. Start the engines. We must leave now. We can't, Jean replied. We need full power realignment first. If we try to jump now, the drive will explode. On the screen, they watched the human ship approach. It was small and crude compared to their vessel, but it moved with purpose. The humans were broadcasting some kind of message, simple radio waves carrying repeating mathematical patterns. A basic hello. They're trying to communicate, Hannah said, amazed. No species has ever initiated first contact. This goes against all protocols, Captain Lee said. We're supposed to observe only. The human ship came closer. They could see 5 humans inside, all wearing simple spacesuits. The humans were pointing, taking pictures, clearly excited. They don't seem afraid at all, Hannah noted. Just curious. That's what scares me, Captain Lee replied. The human ship pulled alongside them, keeping a respectful distance. For an hour, nothing happened. The humans continued sending simple messages. The Starseeker's crew debated what to do. We should just wait for repairs and leave, Captain Lee insisted. Then something unexpected happened. 2 humans left their ship in spacesuits and began moving toward the Starseeker. They're coming here, Jean said, panic in his voice. They can't possibly know if our atmosphere would kill them. They're carrying tools, Hannah observed. I think they want to help repair our ship. Captain Lee engaged the external speakers. This is impossible. Our airlock systems require special genetic keys. They can't get in. But the humans didn't approach the main airlock. Instead, they examined the ship's hull, talking to each other through their suits. After a few minutes, they found a maintenance hatch used for external repairs. They can't open that, Jean said. It requires special tools and codes. Everyone watched in disbelief as the humans pulled out simple tools, metal bars, electric drills, and what looked like a small computer. One human attached the computer to the hatch control panel while the other used the metal bar for leverage. They're hacking our systems, Jean whispered. With primitive tools. Against all odds, warning lights flashed as the maintenance hatch began to open. Close it remotely, Captain Lee ordered. I'm trying, Jean replied. But they've somehow bypassed the main circuits. They're using a pathway I didn't know existed. Captain Lee turned to Hannah, fear in his eyes. Do you understand what this means? They don't just ignore barriers, they find ways around them we never even imagined. No species has ever breached hegemony technology on first contact. Hannah nodded slowly, watching the humans work. They see our advanced lock not as an impossible barrier, but as a puzzle to solve. The maintenance hatch opened fully. The humans paused, looking inside. Then one gave a thumbs-up signal to the other. "They're coming inside," Hannah whispered. "Everything is about to change." 4 months after the incident with the Starseeker, Ambassador Tay stood before a mirror in his quarters, adjusting his formal robes. Today was the day the galactic hegemony would officially welcome humans into the galactic community, on their terms, of course. "Your transport is ready, Ambassador," his assistant said from the doorway. Tay nodded. "Is the treaty prepared as I instructed?" "Yes, sir. The language experts have hidden the restrictive clauses exactly as you requested. On first reading, it appears to be a generous welcome package." Tay smiled. The treaty looked like a gift: technology sharing, medical advancements, and cultural exchange. But buried within were carefully crafted phrases that would limit human expansion to their home system, require hegemony approval for all technological development, and place Earth under the protective guidance of the Hegemony Council. This approach had worked with 17 other species. Give them shiny toys, make them feel special, and they never notice the invisible cage being built around them. "The humans will be grateful," Tay said confidently. "They'll sign without hesitation." 2 hours later, Tay walked into the United Nations building in New York. It was a primitive structure by hegemony standards, but he had to admit it had a certain charm. 500 human representatives from various nations had gathered for this historic moment. Tay approached the podium with practiced grace. He spoke through a translation device, his words flowing smoothly into every human language simultaneously. "People of Earth," he began, "today marks the beginning of a new era. The galactic hegemony welcomes humanity to the stars." The room erupted in applause. Tay waited for it to die down before continuing. "For 50,000 years, the hegemony has guided developing worlds into the galactic community. We have helped hundreds of species overcome the challenges of space travel, resource management, and peaceful coexistence." Tay gestured, and holographic images appeared, showing beautiful alien cities, advanced technologies, and peaceful scenes from across the galaxy. "Today, we offer Earth the same guidance. This treaty represents our commitment to your world." Tay's assistant placed copies of the treaty on the table. The document was 200 pages long, filled with complex legal language and technical terms. "Take your time to review it," Tay said smoothly. "But I assure you, this agreement offers Earth unparalleled opportunities. Signing today would be in your best interest." The human delegates examined the documents. Tay watched confidently. No species had ever taken more than a day to sign such a treaty. Most were so overwhelmed by the technology demonstrations that they signed immediately. But the humans did something different. They formed committees. They brought in experts: lawyers, scientists, linguists, historians, even science fiction writers. For 2 weeks, they examined every word of the treaty. Tay grew increasingly frustrated. His reports to the Hegemony Council became tense. "They're being unreasonably careful," he told Elder Sue during a private communication. "No other species has ever scrutinized a welcome treaty so thoroughly." "Be patient," Elder Sue advised. "They will sign eventually." On the 15th day, Tay was summoned back to the United Nations. He arrived expecting to witness the signing ceremony. Instead, he found himself facing a panel of human representatives. A woman named Director Kim smiled politely at him. "Ambassador Tay, we thank you for this generous offer of friendship." Tay felt relief. "Then you are ready to sign?" "Not quite," Director Kim replied. "We have some amendments we'd like to propose." She handed him a new document. Tay scanned it quickly, his relief turning to shock. The humans hadn't just found the hidden restrictions, they had rewritten the entire treaty. Every clause limiting their development was gone. Every requirement for hegemony approval had been removed. Even worse, they had added new provisions: equal access to trade routes, free exchange of scientific knowledge, and a clause explicitly protecting Earth's right to colonize any uninhabited system. This is unprecedented, Tay said finally. No new species has ever rewritten a hegemony treaty. Director Kim's smile never wavered. We understand this is unusual, Ambassador. But surely if the hegemony truly wishes a partnership of equals, these changes shouldn't be problematic. Tay realized he was trapped. Rejecting the amendments would reveal the hegemony's true intentions. Accepting them would give humans freedoms no newly discovered species had ever received. I will need to consult with the Council, he said stiffly. Later that night, speaking with the Council of Elders, Tay delivered the shocking news. They didn't just find our hidden clauses, they completely outmaneuvered us. If we want relations with Earth, it must be as equals. Elder Park's face showed rare concern. Admiral Kong was right. These humans are unlike any species we've encountered. We must rethink everything. Elder Park stood at the great window of the observation tower, watching starships come and go from the central hub of the hegemony. 50 years had passed since first contact with humans. In that time, everything had changed. Elder, we have the latest reports on human expansion, said Min, his young assistant. Park sighed. Let me guess. Another new colony? 3 new colonies, Elder. All established within the past standard year. Park took the datapad and studied it. The human expansion map glowed with dozens of points of light, each representing a colony world. No species in hegemony history had expanded so quickly. This one concerns us most, Min said, pointing to a planet marked in red. Planet HD-29, a toxic world with high radiation and caustic atmosphere. Uninhabitable by any known standards. Yet the humans are living there? Yes. They've developed new biological modifications, changing their own bodies to withstand the conditions rather than waiting generations to terraform the planet. Park shook his head in wonder. When most species find a hostile world, they move on to find a better one. Humans see it as a challenge to overcome. Min nodded. There's more. The humans have made contact with the Voltar. This news shocked Park. The Voltar were an ancient race from the galaxy's outer rim. The hegemony had written them off centuries ago as primitive and isolationist. The Voltar hate all outsiders. They've rejected hegemony contact for 2,000 years. Yet they welcomed humans, Min said. According to our sources, humans approached them differently. Instead of offering to help them advance, humans asked to learn from them. It seems the Voltar have natural abilities to sense energy fields that humans find fascinating. Park paced the room. First the Drexa water beings, then the hive minds of Sector 7, now the Voltar. Humans keep making friends with species we've dismissed. There's a pattern, Min observed. Humans don't judge species by their technology level. They look for unique strengths, different ways of thinking. They trade their technology for knowledge or resources they lack. Park nodded grimly. And their technology development is equally concerning. They take concepts from completely different fields and combine them in ways no one has tried before. Like their new drive system, Min agreed. They combined our quantum field technology with energy concepts they learned from the Drexa. The result is faster and more efficient than anything in our fleet. Park's communication device chimed. A message from High Command, Priority 1. He read it and his face darkened. What is it, Elder? Min asked. The Sun Collective has attacked New Terra, the human colony in Sector 9. The Sun Collective was the hegemony's oldest rival, a group of systems that had broken away centuries ago. Relations had been tense but stable for generations. Why would they attack humans? The collective has always been cautious. They must see humans as a threat, just as we do, Park said. But they chose force instead of diplomacy. Over the next 3 days, Park received constant updates on the situation. What began as a simple attack on one colony had turned into a full-scale conflict. On the 4th day, Admiral Ju requested an emergency meeting with the Council of Elders. His face was grim as he delivered his report. The Sun Collective fleet has been completely defeated. 7 of their major warships destroyed, the rest have surrendered or fled. The council chamber filled with shocked whispers. Impossible, Elder Su said. The collective has some of the most advanced ships in the galaxy. The humans have been in space for barely 50 years. Admiral Ju displayed the battle recordings. The humans use tactics we've never seen before. They have ships that can temporarily disappear from sensors. They used mining technology to create gravitic disruptions. And most concerning, they deployed a new weapon that disabled collective ships without destroying them. Without destroying them? Park asked. Yes. They call it an electromagnetic pulse weapon. It shuts down electronics without harming organic life. They could have destroyed all collective ships, but instead they disabled them and took prisoners. Elder Jean leaned forward. So they show mercy. Calculated mercy, Admiral Ju corrected. After the battle, they sent a message to the collective homeworld. They said they had no interest in further conflict, but any future attacks would be met with escalating response. Then they released half the prisoners with their disabled ships as a show of good faith. Park understood the strategy immediately. Brilliant. They demonstrated overwhelming power, then extended an olive branch. The collective will think twice before attacking humans again. There's one more thing, Admiral Ju said quietly. We've discovered humans maintained a secret military research division all these years. They shared their peaceful technologies openly while developing defensive systems quietly. We had no idea their military capability was so advanced. Elder Park looked out at the stars. We misjudged them from the beginning. They're not reckless barbarians or naive newcomers. They're something we've never encountered before. What do we do now? Min asked. Park's answer was simple: we adapt or we risk becoming obsolete. In the vast expanse of space, 100 years had passed since the first encounter between humans and the Galactic Council. Admiral June stood before the assembled leaders, her presence both commanding and reflective. The universe had changed, and humanity had become its most unpredictable catalyst. The old hegemony still existed, but its grip had softened. Humans had not conquered through military might, but through an extraordinary ability to reimagine possibilities. They challenged every established norm, asking questions that made other species uncomfortable and seeing opportunities where others saw only barriers. Admiral June spoke with a mix of respect and warning. She recalled the words of High Admiral Kong, her predecessor, but added her own insight. Humans were not dangerous because they were warriors, but because they were relentless innovators. They transformed everything they touched, breaking through limitations that seemed absolute to other civilizations. The youngest member of the council, an elder from a distant planet, listened intently. The question burning in their mind was simple yet profound: was this the end of an old era, or the dawn of something entirely new? Around the council chamber, representatives from countless worlds sat in silent contemplation. Some felt fear, others felt excitement. But all recognized a fundamental truth: the universe had irrevocably changed since humans arrived. Humanity had woven itself into the fabric of galactic society, not through force, but through curiosity, adaptability, and an unquenchable drive to understand and improve. They had created unexpected alliances, solved seemingly impossible problems, and challenged every existing paradigm. As the meeting concluded, a sense of uncertainty and potential hung in the air. The future was no longer a predictable path, but an open canvas waiting to be painted. Humanity had become the brush, creating strokes of innovation that would define the next chapter of galactic history. The youngest elder's question lingered: were they witnessing an ending or a beginning? The answer, as humans would say, remained unwritten, a story waiting to unfold.